Hey everybody, welcome back to the basement. Welcome back to Chris's Trains and Things. Today, we are going to be checking out a train that is totally unique, totally different than anything anybody else in the world has. And it's something that has been in the works for a while. Today, we're going to be talking about this, a previous K-Line 466T that I'm dubbing the Franken engine after what we've done to it. So, let's check it out right here on Chris's Trains and Things. Now, before we talk about this model, we always talk about the prototype for just a minute. So let's dive in there. The tank engine is a variation of steam locomotive that carries its water and fuel supply on the same frame as the boiler and running gear. With the design, the engine and tender are built into one solid frame without the need for that separate tender to pull behind the locomotive. These engines are dubbed double enders since they could easily travel forward or in reverse since there was no separate tender when going in reverse. With this design, these engines became common in suburban rail service, easily moving passenger trains between stations and getting back up to speed in a very short period of time. Alco delivered a group of larger, more powerful Class D1A 464T double enders in 1928. At this time, the B&A, or Boston and Albany, as you see here, sent their older 464 tanks to Lima to be rebuilt. The B&A's Class D1A 466T double enders had 23.5 by 25 inch cylinders and a boiler pressure of 215 psi, weighing in at 352,000 pounds. They produced a tractive effort of 41,000 pounds. The 63 inch drivers of both classes of B&A double enders, though small for locomotives and passenger service, helped get these trains moving quickly between frequent suburban passenger stations. So that's some information on the history of these engines, but let's talk about this model and specifically the story behind it. So this model that you're seeing here is a K-Line engine, originally a K-Line engine. K-Line released these. These were one of the last models that K-Line produced before they ended up closing their doors. And I was fortunate to pick this up at York in October of 2021. To this point, you may have seen a couple other videos that popped out between York and now. I know a couple buddies of mine also picked these up. There was a booth in the Orange Hall that was selling these still sealed in their shippers for a good price, right around $400. So a bunch of us snagged them. They had the Boston and Albany that you see here. They also had New York Central. The New York Central was really sharp with a black smoke box as well. I decided to pick up the Boston Albany for some variation since RJ grabbed the New York Central. Now, as I mentioned, this was originally a K-Line engine. When I picked this up, we returned to my layout after York and we're excited to run the new trains that we had purchased, and RJ pulled his out and it ran great. I pulled mine out and it did not. It was not moving off of certain speed steps. It wasn't responding very well to TMCC. So I decided to send it on its way. But I think the best way to illustrate exactly what that was like is to put you in that situation. So let's get in the way back machine to October of 2021 when I pulled this out of the box, put it on the layout, and saw that it didn't work. All right, York was awesome. Let's get this box open and get this train on the layout, guys. All right, 466T tank with TMCC. It's gonna be awesome. Come on. Of course, I pick up a K-Line engine for the first time and dead on arrival. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, I can't believe it. Well, Sid, work your magic. So the first thing we need to do is fix the connection issues. This engine came with TMCC, so it made sense to go ahead and just upgrade it to Legacy. It's not an uncommon thing for Sid to do. He's very handy and able to do that kind of work. So we threw Legacy in this engine and it ran just fine. But if we're putting Legacy in it, we might as well do some more things. Now, Lionel just released their own 466Ts about 2 years ago, and they were actually the exact same tooling that you see here. Those engines MSRP'd for about $10.99 and are now going for $1,200 or more. Before York, I thought I would love to find one of these as the Lionel version. Lionel version came with whistle steam, and legacy, obviously. So it would be nice to grab that. But for a $400 price tag on the K-Line TMCC one, I figured, well, let's just go with that instead. And so if we're going with the K-Line version, we've added legacy to it. We have to make sure that we put whistle steam in it as well, because that's what the Lionel version has. So that's what we did. We decided to go ahead and put whistle steam in it. Sid worked his magic, and voila, there we go. Now we've got whistle steam. Well, that wouldn't really make this a one-of-a-kind engine, would it? If we just added whistle steam and legacy to it, now we've gone from a K-Line engine to really just having the Lionel version, especially since it's the same tooling. So we needed to do something a little bit different. So what could we add? Think at home. Is there anything else that we could do to this engine to make it any more unique? Well, I figured there's one thing that I don't have in any of the engines in my collection at this point, and that is the swinging bell. Now, how cool is that? The swinging bell is a feature that is really just for Vision Line models. You don't see it often on non-Vision Line models. The H10s a few years ago did have the swinging bell. A lot of us were hoping to see it in some more models more recently, and we haven't, other than, again, those Vision Line models. So I told Sid, I want whistle steam and a swinging bell, let's make it happen. And that was a challenge for him, but challenges are things that he likes, especially when working with trains. So he worked his magic again, and we were able to get a swinging bell put into this model, which truly makes it one of a kind. Then, right at the last minute, before he was ready to finish up and put it in the shipper and send it on its way back to me, just a couple weeks ago, I decided to have him just take away the white walls on the drivers as well, darken those up a little bit. I think that makes it look really sharp. So now we've got this totally unique engine. Let's look it over. So we have it here. It's a K-Line 466T in Boston Albany paint, upgraded to legacy control, added whistle steam, and a swinging bell. This thing is absolutely amazing. I am so happy to have it in my collection. Thank you again to Sid for his handiwork. Since the B&A was a subsidiary of the New York Central, we're actually going to be using some New York Central heavyweight passenger cars for this running session. These are Mth Heavyweights. I picked up a 2-pack from a dealer a couple months ago after York, and I had this engine. I decided I needed some of those. And then the other 3 are actually part of a 5-car set that RJ and I bought from Trains and split up. That's Trains with a Z. And we decided to save some money, so we used code CT&T, and we saved $0 on our order. So this engine's fantastic. The details are exquisite, and it's just what you would find on the Lionel version, except, you know, it's got a little bit more. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Let's check out those awesome features. Let's send this around the layout and enjoy the uniqueness of this engine. Thank you all. Leave a comment. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. I appreciate you. Let's send it on its way.